Alright, yo. I found this book in the trash, and I believe they have a movie about it. So I don't know, I want to read something new. And so we have, so this is a play. The Raisin in the Sun was first presented by Philip Rose, David J. Cogan at the Ethel Barrymore Theater, New York City, March 11, 1959, with the following cast. In order of appearance: Ruth Younger, Ruby D. Travis Younger, Glenn Turman. Walter Lee Younger, brother, Sidney Poitier. Beneatha Younger, Diana Sands. Lena Younger, Mama, Claudia McNeil. Joseph Asagai, Ivan Dixon. George Murchison, Louis Gossett. Carl Lindner, John Fielder. Bobo, Lon Elder III. Moving Men, Ed Hall and Douglas Turner Ward. Directed by Lloyd Richards, designed and lighted by Ralph Oswang, costumes by Virginia Volland. Alright, the action of the play is set in Chicago's South Side, sometime between World War II and the present. Act 1, Scene 1, Friday morning. Scene 2, the following morning. Act 2, Scene 1, later the same day. Scene 2, Friday night a few weeks later. Scene 3, moving day 1 week later. Act 3, an hour later. So we got Act 1, Scene 1. The Younger living room would be a comfortable and well-ordered room if it were not for a number of indestructible contradictions to this state of being. Its furnishings are typical and undistinguished, and the primary feature now is that they have clearly had to accommodate the living of too many people for too many years, and they are tired. Still, we can see that at some time, a time probably no longer remembered by the family except perhaps for Mama, the furnishings of this room were actually selected with care and love and even hope, and brought to this apartment and arranged with taste and pride. That was a long time ago now. The once loved pattern of the couch upholstery has to fight to show itself from under acres of crocheted dollies and couch covers, which have themselves finally come to be more important than the upholstery. And here a table or a chair has been moved to disguise the worn places in the carpet, but the carpet is fought back by showing its weariness with depressing uniformity elsewhere on its surface. Weariness has, in fact, won in this room. Everything has been polished, washed, sat on, used, scrubbed too often. All pretenses but living itself have long since vanished from the very atmosphere of this room. Moreover, a section of this room, for it is not really a room unto itself, though the landlord's lease would make it seem so, slopes backward to provide a small kitchen area where the family prepares the meals that are eaten in the living room proper, which must also serve as a dining room. The single window that has been provided for these two rooms is located in this kitchen area. The sole natural light the family may enjoy in the course of a day is only that which fights its way through the little window. At left, the door leads to a bedroom which is shared by Mama and her daughter, Beneatha, Beneatha. At right, opposite, is a second room which in the beginning of the life of this apartment was probably a breakfast room, which serves as a bedroom for Walter and his wife Ruth. Time, sometime between World War II and the present. Place, Chicago South Side. At rise, it is morning dark in the living room. Travis is asleep on the make-down bed at center. An alarm clock sounds from within the bedroom at right, and presently Ruth enters from that room and closes the door behind her. She crosses sleepily toward the window. As she passes her sleeping son, she reaches down and shakes him a little. At the window, she raises the shade, and a dusky southside morning light comes in feebly. She fills a pot with water and puts it on to boil. She calls to the boy between yawns in a slightly muffled voice. Ruth is about 30. We can see that she was a pretty girl, even exceptionally so, but now it is apparent that life has been little that she expected, and disappointment has already begun to hang in her face. In a few years, before 35 even, she will be known among her people as a settled woman. She crosses to her son and gives him a good, final, rousing shake. Ruth. Come on now, boy, it's 7:30. Her son sits up at last in a stupor of sleepiness. I say hurry up, Travis. You ain't the only person in the world got to use a bathroom. The child, a sturdy, handsome little boy of 10 or 11, drags himself out of the bed and almost blindly takes his towels and today's clothes from drawers in a closet and goes out to the bathroom, which is in an outside hall and which is shared by another family or families on the same floor. Ruth crosses to the bedroom door at right and opens it and calls into her husband. Walter Lee, it's after 7:30. Let me see you do some waking up in there now. She waits. You better get up from there, man. It's after 7:30, I tell you. She waits again. All right, you just go ahead and lay there. Next thing you know, Travis be finished and Mr. Johnson will be in there and you'll be fussing and cussing around here like a madman. And be late too. She waits at the end of patience. Walter Lee, it's time for you to get up. So she kind of yells it, but I don't want to yell it. She says, it's time for you to get up. She waits another second and then starts to go into the bedroom, but is apparently satisfied that her husband has begun to get up. She stops, pulls the door to, and returns to the kitchen area. She wipes her face with a moist cloth and runs her fingers through her sleep disheveled hair in a vain effort and ties an apron around her house coat. The bedroom door at right opens and her husband stands in the doorway in his pajamas, which are rumpled and mismated. He is a lean, intense young man in his middle 30s, inclined to quick, nervous movements and erratic speech habits, and always in his voice there was a quality of indictment. Walter, is he out yet? Ruth, what you mean out? He ain't hardly got in there good yet. Walter, wandering in, still more oriented to sleep than to a new day, so Walter's still sleepy. Well, what was you doing all that yelling for if I can't even get in there yet? Stopping and thinking. Check coming today? He asked his wife, is the check coming today? Ruth, they said Saturday and this is just Friday, and I hopes to God you ain't going to get up here first thing this morning and start talking to me about no money, because I about don't want to hear it. Walter, something the matter with you this morning? Ruth, no, I'm just sleepy as the devil. What kind of eggs you want? Walter, she's a good woman. Not scrambled. Ruth starts to scramble eggs. Paper come? Ruth points impatiently to the rolled-up Tribune on the table when he gets it and spreads it out and vaguely reads the front page. Set off another bomb yesterday. Ruth, maximum indifference. Did they? Walter, looking up. What's the matter with you? Ruth, ain't nothing the matter with me, and don't keep asking me that this morning. Walter, ain't nobody bothering you. Reading the news of the day absently again. Say Colonel McCormick is sick. Ruth, affecting Tea Party interest. Okay. Is he now? Poor thing. Walter, sighing and looking at his watch. Oh, me. He waits. Now, what is that boy doing in that bathroom all this time? He's just going to have to start getting up earlier. It can't be being late to work on account of him fooling around in there. Ruth, turning on him. Oh, no, he ain't going to be getting up no earlier, no such thing. It ain't his fault that he can't get to bed no earlier nights because he's got a bunch of crazy good-for-nothing clowns sitting up running their mouths in what is supposed to be his bedroom after 10 o'clock at night. Walter, that's what you mad about, ain't it? The things I want to talk about with my friends just couldn't be important in your mind, could they? He rises and finds a cigarette in her handbag on the table and crosses to the little window and looks out, smoking and deeply enjoying the first one. Ruth, almost matter-of-factly, a complaint too automatic to deserve emphasis. So she's about to respond. Why you always got to smoke before you eat in the morning? Walter, at the window. Just look at him down there, running and racing to work. He turns and faces his wife and watches her a moment at the stove, and then suddenly, you look young this morning, baby. Ruth, indifferently. Yeah? Walter, just for a second, stirring them eggs. Just for a second it was. You look real young again. He reaches for her. She crosses away, then dryly. It's gone now. You look like yourself again. Ruth, man, if you don't shut up and leave me alone. Walter, looking out to the street again. First thing a man ought to learn in his life is not to make love to no colored woman first thing in the morning. You all some evil people at 8 o'clock in the morning. Travis appears in the hall doorway, almost fully dressed and quite wide awake now. His towels and pajamas across his shoulders, he opens the door and signals for his father to make the bathroom in a hurry. Travis, watching the bathroom. Dad, come on. Walter gets in his bathroom utensils and flies out to the bathroom. Ruth, sit down and have your breakfast, Travis. Travis, Mama, this is Friday. Gleefully. Check coming tomorrow, huh? Ruth, you get your mind off money and eat your breakfast. Travis, eating. This is the morning we're supposed to bring the 50 cents to school. Ruth, well, I ain't got no 50 cents this morning. Travis, teachers say we have to. Ruth, I don't care what teachers say, I ain't got it. Eat your breakfast. Travis, I am eating. Ruth, hush up now and just eat. The boy gives her an exasperated look for her lack of understanding and eats grudgingly. Travis, you think grandmama would have it? Ruth, no, and I want you to stop asking your grandmother for money, you hear me? Travis, outraged. Golly, I don't ask her, she just give me it sometimes. Ruth, Travis Willard Younger. I got too much on me this morning to be. You know, she mentions your full name. Travis, maybe Daddy? Ruth, Travis. The boy hushes abruptly. They're both quiet and tense for several seconds. Travis, presently. Could I maybe go carry some groceries in front of the supermarket for a little while after school then? Ruth, just hush, I said. That's a good idea, though. My daughter wanted to do it, I'd be all right. But you can't be out too late. And as a matter of fact, I'll meet you over there. Ruth, just hush, I said. Travis jabs his spoon into his cereal bowl viciously and rests his head in anger upon his fist. If you through eating, you can get over there and make up your bed. The boy obeys stiffly and crosses the room almost mechanically to the bed and more or less folds the bedding into a heap and angrily gets his books and cap. Travis, sulking and standing apart from her unnaturally. I'm gone. Ruth, looking up from the stove to inspect him automatically. Come here. He crosses to her and she studies his head. If you don't take this comb and fix this here head, you better. Travis puts down his books with a great sigh of oppression and crosses to the mirror. His mother mutters under her breath about his stubbornness. About to march out of here with that head looking just like chicken slept in it. I just don't know where you get your slubbering ways. And get your jacket too. Looks chilly out this morning. Travis with conspicuously brushed hair and jacket. And again, he tells him, I'm gone. Ruth, get car fare and milk money. Waving one finger, and not a single penny for no caps, you hear me? Get car fare and milk money. What she mean by that? Where's he get it from? Travis, with sullen politeness. Yes, He turns in outrage to leave. His mother watches after him. As his frustration, he approaches the door almost comically. When she speaks to him, her voice has become a very gentle tease. Ruth, mocking as she thinks he would say it. Oh, Mama makes me so mad sometimes. I don't know what to do. She waits and continues to his back as he stands stock still in front of the door. I wouldn't kiss that woman goodbye for nothing in this world this morning. The boy finally turns around and rolls his eyes at her, knowing the mood has changed. And he's vindicated. He does not, however, move toward her yet. Not for nothing in this world. She finally laughs aloud at him and holds out her arms to him, and we see that this is a way between them. Very old in practice, he crosses to her and allows her to embrace him warmly, but keeps his face fixed with masculine rigidity. She holds him back from her presently and looks at him and runs her fingers over the features of his face with utter gentleness. Now, whose little old angry man are you? Travis, the masculinity and gruffness start to fade at last. Ah, golly, mama. Oh, he says like, oh, golly, mama. Because she asks him, whose little old angry man are you? So I guess when she's sending him out, he's about to leave. But she acts kind of sarcastic with him. And he turns around and that's when they embrace. It's just a mom being loving, you know? Travis, okay. So Ruth, mimicking, oh, golly, mama. She pushes him with rough playfulness and finality toward the door. Get on out of here, you're going to be late. Travis, in the face of love, new aggressiveness. Mama, could I please go carry groceries? Ruth, honey, it's starting to get so cold evenings. Walter, coming in from the bathroom and drawing a make-believe gun from a make-believe holster and shooting at his son. What does he want? What is it he wants to do? Ruth, go carry groceries after school at the supermarket. Walter, well, let him go. Travis, quickly to the ally. I have to. She won't give me the 50 cents. Walter, to his wife only. Why not? Ruth, simply and with flavor. Because we don't have it. Walter, to Ruth only. What do you tell the boy things like that for? Oh man, he should just told him to go stand outside the grocery. Reaching down into his pants with a rather important gesture. Here, son. He hands the boy the coin, but his eyes are directed to his wife's. Travis takes the money happily. Travis, thanks, Daddy. He starts out. Ruth watches both of them with murder in her eyes. Walter stands and stares back at her with defiance and suddenly reaches into his pocket again. On an afterthought, Walter, without even looking at his son, still staring hard at his wife. In fact, here's another 50 cents. Buy yourself some fruit today, or take a taxi cab to school or something. Travis, whoopee. He leaps up and clasps his father around the middle with his finger leg, and they face each other in mutual appreciation. No, he leaps up and clasps his father around the middle with his legs, and they face each other in mutual appreciation. Okay, slowly. Walter Lee peeks around the boy to catch the violent rays from his wife's eyes and draws his head back as if shot. Walter, you better get down now and get to school, man. Travis, at the door. Okay, goodbye. He exits. Walter, after him, pointing with pride. That's my boy. She looks at him in disgust and turns back to her work. You know what I was thinking about in the bathroom this morning? Ruth, no. Walter, how come you always try to be so pleasant? Ruth, what is there to be pleasant about? So he's asking, why do you always try to be so pleasant? But she's saying, what do you mean? What's there to be pleasant about? Walter again, you want to know what I was thinking about in the bathroom or not? Ruth, I know what you thinking about. Walter, ignoring her. About what me and Willie Harris was talking about last night. Ruth, immediately a refrain. Willie Harris is a good-for-nothing loudmouth. Walter, anybody who talks to me has got to be a good-for-nothing loudmouth, ain't he? And what do you know about who was just a good-for-nothing loudmouth? Charlie Atkins was just a good-for-nothing loudmouth too, wasn't he? When he wanted me to go in the dry cleaning business with him. And now he's grossing $100,000 a year, $100,000 a year. You still call him a loudmouth? Ruth, bitterly. Oh, Walter Lee. She folds her head on her arms over the table. Walter, rising and coming to her and standing over her. You tired, ain't you? Tired of everything? Me, the boy, the way we live, this beat up hole, everything, ain't you? She doesn't look up, doesn't answer. So tired, moaning and groaning all the time. But you wouldn't do nothing to help, would you? You couldn't be on my side that long for nothing, could you? Ruth. Walter, please leave me alone. Walter, a man needs for a woman to back him up. Ruth. Walter. Walter. Mama would listen to you. You know she listened to you more than she'd do me and Benny. She'd think more of you. All you have to do is just sit down with her when you're drinking your coffee one morning and talking about things like you do. And while he sits down beside her and demonstrates graphically what he thinks her methods and tone should be. You just sip your coffee, see, and say easy like that you've been thinking about that deal Walter Lee is so interested in about the store and all, and sip some more coffee. Like what you saying ain't really that important to you. And the next thing you know, she be listening good and asking you questions, and when I come home, I can tell her the details. This ain't no fly-by-night proposition, baby. I mean, we figured it out. Me and Willie and Bobo. Ruth with a frown. Bobo? Walter, yeah, you see, this little liquor store we got in mind cost $75,000, and we figured the initial investment on the place be about $30,000. See, that'd be $10,000 each. Of course, there's a couple of $100 you got to pay, so you don't spend your life just waiting for them clowns to let your license get approved. Ruth, you mean graft? Walter, frowning impatiently. Don't call it that, see there? That just goes to show you what women understand about the world. Baby, don't nothing happen for you in this world unless you pay somebody off. Ruth, Walter, leave me alone. She raises her head and stares at him vigorously, then says more quietly, eat your eggs, they're gonna be cold. Walter, straightening up from her and looking off. That's it, there you are. Man say to his woman, I got me a dream. His woman say, eat your eggs. Sadly, but gaining in power, man say, I got to take hold of this here world, baby. And the woman will say, eat your eggs and go to work. Passionately now. Man say, I got to change my life. I'm choking to death, baby. His woman say in utter anguish as he brings his fist down on his thighs, your eggs is getting cold. Ruth softly, Walter, that ain't none of our money. Walter, not listening at all or even looking at her. This morning I was looking in the mirror and thinking about it. I'm 35 years old. I've been married 11 years and I got a boy who sleeps in the living room very, very quietly. And all I got to give him is stories about how rich white people live. Ruth, eat your eggs, Walter. Walter slams the table and jumps up. Damn my eggs. Damn all the eggs that ever was. Ruth, then go to work. Walter looking up at her. See, I'm trying to talk to you about myself. shaking his head with repetition. All you can say is eat them eggs and go to work. Ruth, wearily, honey, you never say nothing new. I listen to you every day, every night, and every morning, and you never say nothing new. Shrugging. So you would rather be Mr. Arnold than be a chauffeur. So I would rather be living in Buckingham Palace. Walter, that is just what is wrong with that is just what is wrong with the colored women in this world. Don't understand about building their men up and making them feel like they somebody, like they can do something. Ruth, dryly but too hurt. There are colored men who do things. Walter, no thanks to the colored woman. Ruth, well, being a colored woman, I guess I can't help myself now. She rises and gets the ironing board and sets it up and attacks a huge pile of rough, dried clothes, sprinkling them in preparation for the ironing and when rolling them into tight, fat balls. Walter mumbling, we one group of men tied to erase a woman with small minds. Sounds like he can't make decisions for himself. His sister Beneatha enters. She's about 20, as slim and intense as her brother. She is not as pretty as her sister-in-law, but her lean, almost intellectual face has a handsomeness of its own. She wears a bright red flannel nightie, and her thick hair stands wildly about her head. Her speech is a mixture of many things that is different from the rest of the family insofar as education has permeated her sense of English, and perhaps the Midwest rather than the South has finally, at last, won out in her inflection. But not altogether, because over all of it is a soft slurring and transformed use of vowels, which is the decided influence of the South Side. She passes through the room without looking at either Ruth or Walter and goes to the outside door and looks a little blindly out to the bathroom. She sees that it has been lost to the Johnsons. She closes the door with a sleepy vengeance and crosses to the table and sits down a little defeated. Beneatha, I'm going to start timing those people. Walter, you should get up earlier. Beneatha, her face in her hands, she is still fighting the urge to go back to bed. Really? Would you suggest dawn? Where's the paper? Walter, pushing the paper across the table to her as he studies her almost clinically, as though he has never seen her before. You a horrible-looking chick at this hour. Beneatha, dryly, good morning, everybody. Walter, senselessly, how is school coming? Beneatha, in the same spirit, lovely, lovely, and you know biology is the greatest. Looking up at him, I dissected something that looked just like you yesterday. Wonder how long this goes. Let's do a little pause real quick. So the sister just came in. They're arguing about money. The kid went off to school, needed some money. Seems like the husband wanted to invest one time, didn't do it. Now is that partner, that potential investment opportunity that passed. The guy's successful, so now he blames it on his wife. This is such a great book, man. I think it should be read in school and to kind of teach young men how to not handle yourself when you become a man. It's a great book. But this is gonna be like an hour-long video. I don't know, because this whole first scene 1 is all the way to 53, and I'm on 36, so probably got a 40-minute video. So we'll keep going. I just wanted to know. So she said she likes school. I just wondered, okay, she's like, remember she said, his sister Beneatha said something funny. I dissected something that looked just like you yesterday. So Walter, I just wondered if you made up your mind and everything. Beneatha, gaining in sharpness and impatience. And what did I answer yesterday morning and the day before that? Ruth, from the ironing board, like someone disinterested and old. Don't be so nasty, Benny. Beneatha, still to her brother. And the day before that, and the day before that? Walter, defensively, I'm interested in you. Something wrong with that? Ain't many girls who decide. Walter and Beneatha in unison. To be a doctor? Silence. Walter, have we figured out yet just exactly how much medical school is going to cost? Ruth, Walter, Lee, why don't you leave the girl alone and get out of here to work? Beneatha exits to the bathroom and bangs on the door. Come on out of there, please. She comes back into the room. She has to use the restroom. Walter, looking at his sister intently, you know the check is coming tomorrow. Beneatha, turning on him with a sharpness all her own. That money belongs to Mama, Walter, and it's for her to decide how she wants to use it. I don't care if she wants to buy a house or a rocket ship or just nail it up somewhere and look at it. It's hers, not ours, hers. Walter, bitterly, now ain't that fine? You just got your mother's interest at heart, ain't you, girl? You're such a nice girl, but if Mama got that money, she can always take a few thousand and help you through school too, can't she? Beneatha, I've never asked anyone around here to do anything for me. Oh, so Walter's trying to see what's up. If his sister has any, idea about what she wants to do with the money. Walter, no. No? And the line between asking and just accepting when the time comes is big and wide, ain't it? Oh, Walter, you're such a lame. Beneatha with fury. What do you want from me, brother? That I quit school or just drop dead? Which? Walter, I don't want nothing but for you to stop acting holy around here. Me and Ruth done made some sacrifices for you. Why can't you do something for the family? Ruth. Walter, don't be dragging me in it. Walter, you are in it. Don't you get up and go to work in somebody's kitchen for the last 3 years to help put clothes on her back? So Walter's like, you are in it. Don't you get up and go to work in somebody's kitchen for the last 3 years to help put clothes on her back? Ruth, oh, Walter, that's not fair. Walter, it ain't that somebody expects you to get on your knees and say, thank you, brother. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, Mama. And thank you, Travis, for wearing the same pair of shoes for 2 semesters. Beneatha, dropping to her knees. Well, I do, all right. Thank everybody, and forgive me for ever wanting to be anything at all. Pursuing him on her knees across the floor. Forgive me, forgive me, forgive me. Oh, it's mad dramatic, huh? Ruth, please stop it. Your mama will hear you. Walter, who the hell told you you had to be a doctor? If you're so crazy about messing around with sick people, then go be a nurse like other women, or just get married and be quiet. Beneatha, well, you finally got it said. It took you 3 years, but you finally got it said, Walter. Give up. Leave me alone. It's Mama's money. Walter, he was my father, too. Beneatha, so what? He was mine, too, and Travis's grandfather. But the insurance money belongs to Mama. Picking on me is not going to make her give it to you to invest in any liquor stores. Under breath, dropping into a chair. And I, for one, say God bless Mama for that. Walter to Ruth, see, did you hear? Did you hear? Ruth, honey, please go to work. Walter, nobody in this house is ever going to understand me. Beneatha, because you're a nut. Walter, who's a nut? Beneatha, you are a nut. Thee is mad, boy. Ooh, Walter, looking at his wife and his sister from the door very sadly. The world's most backward race of people, and that's a fact. It is kind of sad that, I don't know, they're fighting. It's pretty sad, you know. Beneatha, turning slowly in her chair. And then there are all those prophets who would lead us out of the wilderness. Walter slams out of the house into the swamps. Ruth, Benny, why you always gotta be picking on your brother? Can't you be a little sweeter sometimes? Door opens, Walter walks in, he fumbles with his cap, starts to speak, clears throat, looks everywhere but at Ruth finally. Walter to Ruth, I need some money for car fare. Ruth looks at him, then warms, teasing, but tenderly. 50 cents? She goes to her bag and gets money. Here, take a taxi. So he needed money, the money he gave his son. Walter exits. Mama enters. She is a woman in her early 60s, full-bodied and strong. She's one of those women of a certain grace and beauty who wear it so unobtrusively that it takes a while to notice. Her dark brown face is surrounded by the total whiteness of her hair. And being a woman who has adjusted to many things in life and overcome many more, her face is full of strength. She has, we can see, with a wit and faith of a kind that keep her eyes lit and full of interest and expectancy. She is, in a word, a beautiful woman. Her bearing is perhaps most like the noble bearing of women of the heroes of the Southwest Africa, rather as if she imagines that as she walks, she still bears a basket or a vessel upon her head. Her speech, on the other hand, is as careless as her carriage is precise. She is inclined to slur everything, but her voice is perhaps not so much quiet as simply soft. Mama, who that around here slamming doors at this hour? She crosses through the room, goes to the window, opens it, and brings in a feeble little plant growing doggedly in a small pot on the windowsill. She fills the dirt and puts it back out. Ruth, that was Walter Lee. He and Benny was at it again. Benny's Beneatha, that's her nickname. Mama, my children and them tempers, Lord. If this little old plant don't get more sun than it's been getting, it ain't never going to see spring again. She turns from the window. What's the matter with you this morning, Ruth? You looks right peaked. You ain't mean to iron all them things? Leave some for me. I'll get to 'em this morning. Benny, honey, it's too drafty for you to be sitting around half dressed. Where's your robe? Beneatha, in the cleaners. Mama, well, go get mine and put it on. Beneatha, I'm not cold, Mama, honest. Mama, I know, but you so thin. Beneatha, irritably. Mama, I'm not cold. Mama, seeing the make-down bed as Travis has left it. Lord have mercy, look at that poor bed. Bless his heart. He tries, don't he? She moves to the bed Travis has sloppily made up. Ruth. No, he don't have to try at all, 'cause he knows you going to come along behind him and fix everything. That's just how come he don't know how to do nothing right now. You done spoiled that boy so. Mama, folding the bed. Well, he's a little boy. Ain't supposed to know about housekeeping. My baby, that's what he is. What you fix for his breakfast this morning? Ruth, angrily, I feed my son, Lena. Mama, I ain't meddling, under breath, busybody-ish. I just noticed all last week we had cold cereal. When it starts getting this chilly in the fall, child ought to have some hot grits or something when he goes out in the cold. Ruth, furious. I gave him hot oats. Is that all right? Mama, I ain't meddling. Pause. Put a lot of nice butter on it. Ruth shoots her an angry look and does not reply. He likes lots of butter. Grandma being worried about her grandson. Ruth, exasperated. Lena. She's like, Lena, please. Mama, to Beneatha. Mama is inclined to wander conversationally sometimes. What was you and your brother fussing about this morning? Beneatha, it's not important, Mama. She gets up and goes to look out at the bathroom, which is apparently free, and she picks up her towels and rushes out. Mama, what was they fighting about? Ruth, now you know as well as I do. Mama, shaking her head. Brother is still worrying himself sick about that money? Ruth, you know he is. Mama, you had breakfast? Ruth, some coffee. Mama, girl, you better start eating and looking after yourself better. You're almost thin as Travis. Ruth, Lena. Mama, Ruth, what are you going to do with it? Mama, now don't you start, child. It's too early in the morning to be talking about money. It ain't Christian. Ruth, it's just that he got his heart set on that store. Oh, he already got the money spent. Damn, this is a book about money and shit. It's kind of fucked up. I guess they're gonna get some money from insurance from the father. Guess he died. That's crazy, huh? It's a crazy story. Look, we all could relate to these stories, you know, especially colored people. Brown people are considered colored people. I'm not white, you know, this is a white world. You feel me? So just could relate, you know what I mean? Mama, you mean that liquor store that Willie Harris want him to invest in? Ruth, yes. Mama, we ain't no business people, Ruth. We just plain working folks. That's why when you get a lot of money like that, you shouldn't change nothing, you know? You should at least don't change nothing until you really come up with a good business idea and a really good business opportunity and something you're actually familiar with, or you know for sure is going to be a good score, you know? Or you work with people who usually have high percentages of getting a return, which is like gambling. Ruth, ain't nobody business people till they go into business. Walter Lee say colored people ain't never going to start getting ahead till they start gambling on some different kinds of things in the world. Investments and things. Mama, what done got into you, girl? Walter Lee done finally sold you on investing. Ruth, no. Mama, something is happening between Walter and me. I don't know what it is, but he needs something. Something I can't give him anymore. He needs this chance, Lena. Mama, frowning deeply. But liquor, honey? Ruth, well, like Walter said, I expect people going to always be drinking themselves some liquor. Which is true. Mama, well, whether they drinks it or not ain't none of my business, but whether I go into business selling it to him is, and I don't want that on my ledger this late in life. Stopping suddenly and studying her daughter-in-law, Ruth Younger. Ruth Younger, what's the matter with you today? You look like you could fall over right there. Ruth, I'm tired. So let's hold on right there. The grandma's like, you know, I don't want to, you know, it's on her conscience to not really do that because she's like, I'm old. I don't want to put my money in, like, you know, thriving off other people's kind of sickness and alcoholism. And then she's asking Ruth, what's wrong with you? So Ruth replies, I'm tired. And then Mama says, then you better stay home from work today. Ruth, I can't stay home. She'd be calling up the agency and screaming at them. My girl didn't come in today. Send somebody. My girl didn't come in. Oh, she would just have a fit. Mama, well, let her have it. I'll just call her up and say you got the flu. Ruth, laughing. Why the flu? Mama, because it sounds respectable to them. Something white people get too. They know about the flu. Otherwise, they think you've been cut up or something when you tell them you're sick. Ruth, I got to go in. We need the money. Mama, somebody would have thought my children didn't all but starve to death the way they talk about money. Here, late. Child, we got a great big old check coming tomorrow. Ruth, sincerely but also self-righteously. Now, that's your money. It ain't got nothing to do with me. We all feel like that. Walter and Benny and me, even Travis. Mama, thoughtfully and suddenly very far away. $10,000. Ruth, sure is wonderful. Mama, $10,000. Ruth, you know what you should do, Miss Lena? You should take yourself a trip somewhere to Europe or South America or someplace. Mama, throwing up her hands at the thought. Oh, child. Ruth, I'm serious. Just pack up and leave. Go on away and enjoy yourself some. Forget about the family and have yourself a ball for once in your life. Mama, dryly, you sound like I'm just about ready to die. Who'd go with me? Would I look like wandering around Europe by myself? Yeah, because like investing in what that guy wants to invest, as soon as it touches your hands, you got to put that $10,000. Like, you need some security, you know? You'd be stupid to invest, like, all your money, you know what I mean? That's why you need to have enough where you could still have, you always got to have a pile of money. And that pile of money has to be, I don't know, this book is already frustrating. So we got Ruth. Shoot, these here rich white people do it all the time. They don't think nothing of packing up their suitcases and piling on one of them big steamships and swoosh, they gone, child. Mama, something always told me I wasn't no rich white woman. Ruth, well, what are you going to do with it then? Mama, I ain't rightly decided. Thinking, she speaks now with emphasis. Some of it got to be put away for Beneatha and her schooling. And ain't nothing going to touch that part of it, nothing. She waits several seconds trying to make up her mind about something and looks at Ruth a little tentatively before going on. Been thinking that we maybe could meet the notes on a little old 2-story somewhere with a yard where Travis could play in the summertime. If we use part of the insurance for a down payment and everybody kind of pitch in, I could maybe take on a little day work again, a few days a week. That sounds like a really good idea, honestly. And then Travis gets a little older and then he could help out, you know? Ruth, studying her mother-in-law furtively and concentrating on her ironing, anxious to encourage without seeming to. Well, Lord knows we've put enough rent into this here rat trap to pay for 4 houses by now. Mama, looking up at the words rat trap and then looking around and leaning back and sighing in a suddenly reflective mood. Rat trap, yes, that's all it is, smiling. I remember just as well the day me and Big Walter moved in here. Hadn't been married but 2 weeks and wasn't planning on living here no more than a year. She shakes her head at the dissolved dream. We was going to set away little by little, don't you know, and buy a little place out in Morgan Park. We had even picked out the house. And she's chuckling a little. Looks right dumpy today, but Lord, child, you should know all the dreams I had about buying that house and fixing it up and making me a little garden in the back. She waits and stops smiling. And didn't none of it happen, drawing her hands in a futile gesture. So I want to stop there. That's sad, man. So the money that came was pretty much from his hard work. Like, they had dreams of, like, buying that house, making it look nice, or just having something nicer and improve it. And now the only money they were ever accumulate was at the husband's death because of insurance. Something he never even got to see. And they should fix up that house. They should, you know, like I said, people, like, I love this book. Is like a book on investment as well. It's pretty amazing if you think about it. But yeah, I'm not done yet. I gotta keep going. I just find that to be sad. So Ruth keeps her head down, ironing. Yes, life can be a barrel of disappointment sometimes. Mama, honey, Big Walter would come in here some nights back then and slump down on that couch there and just look at the rug and look at me and look at the rug and then back at me. And I know he was down then, really down. After a second very long and thoughtful pause, she is seen back to times that only she can see. And then, Lord, when I lost that baby, little Claude, I almost thought I was going to lose Big Walter too. Oh, and that man grieved himself. He was one man to love his children. Ruth, ain't nothing can tear at you like losing your baby. Mama, I guess that's how come that man finally worked himself to death like he done, like he was fighting his own war with this here world that took his baby from him. Ruth, he sure was a fine man, all right. I always liked Mr. Younger. Mama, crazy about his children. God knows there was plenty wrong with Walter Younger. Hard-headed, mean, kind of wild with women, plenty wrong with him, but he sure loved his children. Always wanted them to have something, be something. That's where brother gets all these notions, I reckon. Big Walter used to say he'd get right wet in the eyes sometimes. Lean his head back with the water standing in his eyes and say, seemed like God didn't seem fit to give the black man nothing but dreams, but he did give us children to make them dreams seem worthwhile. She smiles. He could talk like that, don't you know? That's pretty poetic, man. Ruth, yes, he sure could. He was a good man, Mr. Younger. Mama, yes, a fine man. Just couldn't never catch up with his dreams, that's all. Beneatha comes in, brushing her hair and looking up to the ceiling where the sound of a vacuum cleaner has started up. That's why the son's still like a dreamer, you know? Which, you should just try to save up. You could always grow a pile of money, bro. Beneatha comes in, brushing her hair and looking up to the ceiling where the sound of a vacuum cleaner has started up. Beneatha, what could be so dirty on that woman's rugs that she has to vacuum them every single day? Ruth, I wish certain young women around here who I could name would take inspiration about certain rugs in a certain apartment I could also mention. Beneatha, shrugging. How much cleaning can a house need, for Christ's sake? Mama, not liking the Lord's name used thus. Benny. Ruth, just listen to her, just listen. Beneatha, oh God, Mama, if you use the Lord's name just one more time. Beneatha, a bit of a whine. Oh, Mama. Ruth, fresh, just fresh as salt, this girl. Beneatha, dryly. Well, if the salt loses its savor. Mama, now that will do. I just ain't going to have you round here reciting the scriptures in vain, you hear me? Beneatha, how did I manage to get on everybody's wrong side by just walking into a room? Ruth, if you weren't so fresh. Beneatha, Ruth, I'm 20 years old. Mama, what time you be home from school today? Beneatha, kind of late. With enthusiasm. Madeline is going to start my guitar lessons today. Mama and Ruth look up with the same expression. Mama, your what kind of lessons? Beneatha, guitar. Ruth, oh Father. Mama, how come you done taking it in your mind to learn to play the guitar? Beneatha, I just want to, that's all. Mama smiling. Lord, child, don't you know what to do with yourself? How long it's going to be before you get tired of this? Tired of this now. Like you got tired of that little play acting group you joined last year. Looking at Ruth. And what was it the year before that? Ruth, the horseback riding club for which she bought that $50 riding habit that's been hanging in the closet ever since. Mama to Beneatha. Why you got to flit so from one thing to another, baby? Beneatha sharply. I just want to learn to play the guitar. Is there anything wrong with that? Mama, ain't nobody trying to stop you. I just wonder sometimes why you has to flit so from one thing to another all the time. You ain't never done nothing with all that camera equipment you brought home. She's be collecting shit on. Beneatha. I don't flit. I experiment with different forms of expression. Ruth, like riding a horse. Beneatha. People have to express themselves one way or another. Mama, what is it you want to express? Beneatha angrily. Me. Mama and Ruth look at each other and burst into raucous laughter. Don't worry, I don't expect you to understand. Somebody creeped up. Oh, it is. I hear somebody. Nah, I don't see them. I think they're over here. Mama, to change the subject. Who you going out with tomorrow night? Beneatha with pleasure. George Murchison again. Mama, please. Oh, you getting a little sweet on him? Ruth, you ask me. This child ain't sweet on nobody but herself. Under breath. Express herself. They laugh. Beneatha. Oh, I like George all right, Mama. I mean, I like him enough to go out with him and stuff, but... Ruth, for devilment. What does and stuff mean? Beneatha, mind your own business. Mama, stop picking at her now, Ruth. She chuckles, then a suspicious sudden look at her daughter as she turns in her chair for emphasis. What does it mean? Beneatha, wearily. Oh, I just mean I couldn't ever really be serious about George. He's so shallow. Ruth, shallow? What do you mean he's shallow? He's rich. Mama, hush, Ruth. Beneatha, I know he's rich. He knows he's rich, too. Ruth, well, what other qualities a man got to have to satisfy you, little girl? Beneatha, you wouldn't even begin to understand. Anybody who married Walter could not possibly understand. Mama, outrage. What kind of way is that to talk about your brother? Beneatha, brother is a flip, let's face it. Mama to Ruth helplessly. What's a flip? Ruth, glad to add kindly. She's saying he's crazy. Beneatha, not crazy. Brother isn't really crazy yet. He's an elaborate neurotic. Mama, hush your mouth. Beneatha, as for George, well, George looks good. He's got a beautiful car and he takes me to nice places, and as my sister-in-law says, he's probably the richest boy I will ever get to know, and I even like him sometimes. But if the youngers are sitting around waiting to see if their little Benny is going to tie up with the family, is going to tie up the family with the Murchisons, they're wasting their time. She's pretty much saying, if you're waiting for me to marry rich people, for you guys to be rich, you're wasting your time. Ruth, you mean you wouldn't marry George Murchison if he asked you someday? That pretty rich thing? Honey, I knew you was odd. Beneatha, no, I would not marry him if all I felt for him was what I feel now. Besides, George's family wouldn't really like it. Mama, why not? Beneatha, oh Mama, the Murchisons are honest to God, real live, rich colored people, and the only people in the world who are more snobbish than rich white people are rich colored people. I thought everybody knew that. I met Mrs. Murchison. She's a scene. So she's saying I met the boy I'm going out with. I met his mom, Mrs. Murchison, and she's a scene. So anyway, Mama, you must not dislike people because they felt, sorry. There's Mama. You must not dislike people because they well off, honey. Beneatha, why not? It makes just as much sense as disliking people because they are poor, and lots of people do that. Ruth, a wisdom of the ages manner, to Mama. Well, she'll get over some of this. Beneatha, get over what? What are you talking about? Ruth, listen, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm not worried about who I'm going to marry yet, if I ever get married. Mama and Ruth. If? Mama. Now, Benny. Beneatha. Oh, I probably will, but first I'm going to be a doctor. And George, for one, still thinks that's pretty funny. I couldn't be bothered with that. I'm going to be a doctor, and everybody around here better understand that. Mama, kindly. Of course you're going to be a doctor, honey, God willing. Beneatha, dryly. God hasn't got a thing to do with it. Mama, Beneatha, that just wasn't necessary. Beneatha, well, neither is God. I get sick of hearing about God. Mama, Beneatha. Beneatha, I mean it. I'm just tired of hearing about God all the time. What has he got to do with anything? Doesn't he pay union? Or does he pay tuition? Oh, so she's mad about the tuition thing. Mama, you about to get your fresh little jaw slapped. Ruth, that's just what she needs, all right? Beneatha, why? Why can't I say what I want to around here like everybody else? Mama, it don't sound nice for a young girl to say things like that. You wasn't brought up that way. Me and your father went to trouble to get you and brother to church every Sunday. As a parent at that moment, I'll let my daughter say whatever she wants. Beneatha, Mama, you don't understand. It's all a matter of ideas, and God is just one idea I don't accept. It's not important. I'm not going out and be immoral or commit crimes because I don't believe in God. I don't even think about it. It's just that I get tired of him getting credit for all the things the human race achieves to its own stubborn effort. There simply is no blasted God. There is only man, and it is he who makes miracles. Mama absorbs this speech, studies her daughter, and rises slowly and crosses to Beneatha and slaps her powerfully across the face. After, there is only silence, and the daughter drops her eyes from her mother's face, and Mama is very tall before her. Homie's getting dropped off. The old man. Mama, now, you say after me in my mother's house there is still God. There was a long pause, and Beneatha stares at the floor wordlessly. Mama repeats the phrase with precision and cool emotion. In my mother's house there is still God. Beneatha, in my mother's house there is still God. A long pause. Mama, walking away from Beneatha, too disturbed for triumphant posture, stopping and turning back to her daughter. There are some ideas we ain't going to have in this house, not as long as I am at the head of this family. Beneatha, yes, ma'am. Mama walks out of the room. Ruth, almost gently with profound understanding. You think you're a woman, Benny, but you're still a little girl. What you did was childish, so you got treated like a child. Beneatha, I see. Quietly, I also see that everybody thinks it's all right for Mama to be a tyrant, but all the tyranny in the world will never put a God in the heavens. She picks up her books and goes out. Pause. Ruth goes to Mama's door. She says she was sorry. Mama, coming out, going to her plant. They frightens me, Ruth, my children. Ruth, you got good children, Lena. Just a little off sometimes, but they're good. Mama, no, there's something come down between me and them that don't let us understand each other, and I don't know what it is. One done almost lost his mind thinking about money all the time, and the other done commenced to talk about things I can't seem to understand in no form or fashion. What is it that's changing, Ruth? Ruth, soothing older than her years. Okay, Ruth, soothingly older than her years. Now, you taking it all too seriously, Mama. You just got strong-willed children, and it takes a strong woman like you to keep them in hand. Mama, looking at her plant and sprinkling a little water on it. They spirited all right, my children. Got to admit they got spirit, Benny and Walter. Like this little old plant that ain't never had enough sunshine or nothing. And look at it. She has her back to Ruth, who has to stop ironing and lean against something and put the back of her hand to her forehead. Ruth, trying to keep Mama from noticing. You sure loves that little old thing, don't you? Mama, well, I always wanted me a garden like I used to see sometimes at the back of the houses down home. This plant is close as ever I got to having one. She looks out of the window as she replaces the plant. Lord, ain't nothing as dreary as a view from this window on a dreary day, is there? Why ain't you singing this morning, Ruth? Sing that No Ways Tired. That song always lifts me up. She turns at last to see that Ruth has slipped quietly to the floor in a semi-consciousness. So she wants Ruth to sing. She's wondering why aren't you ain't singing, Ruth? She wants her to sing a song called No Ways Tired. Like, I'm not tired in no way. No ways tired. That song always lifts me up, so she turns at last to see that Ruth has slipped quietly to the floor in a state of semi-consciousness. Ruth, honey, what's the matter with you, Ruth? Curtain closes. So it starts off, inside the home. They're waking up for breakfast, but there's other people that live inside that same home, so they're talking about Ruth is trying to get her husband, Mr. Walter, up to get up in time to use the restroom. He gets up, whatever, they argue. They mentions the little son that they have, and then Mama gets mentioned once money gets involved. And then we learn about Beneatha. She's a 20-year-old sister of Walter. Walter's like 10 years older than her, maybe. But they're gonna get a check because I guess the husband just died, so they got some sort of insurance money. What's up, big dog?
The baddest, one of the top 5 baddest yard sales I've gone to, $1.
What is it?
For water balloon slingshot.
Oh, that's badass, bro.
Fresh.
Thanks, man.
Cold water.
I appreciate it.
Okay, you were over there, so
Are you over there hanging out?
Yeah, we're talking now. Poor old guy. Shit. I'm in love with my book. Take your time, because I'm gonna enjoy this one. But I'm gonna go back to everything.
How much you selling that for?
$1.
$1? All right, I'll give it to you later.
I had the foot one minute, and I'm good.
I'll give it to you later. No, I'll give it to you later.
No.
I might not want it. I might not want it.
Oh, no.
And if you get a better offer, sell it.
Oh, no. Hey.
Yeah, I appreciate the water, though. Hey, I'm doing
Take your time, relax.
I'm doing my reading online.
All right, good man.
Later. Yeah, I told him I do reading online. That's the neighbor. The other homeless neighbor. Peace, yo.